So we have been discussing about um the concept that Brahma is Akshara. Brahma means Parabrahma, not that Chaturmukha Brahma. For Brahma the creator. Brahma the creator is different. Parabrahma is different. We are referring to that. So Parabrahma means the creator, the one who is originator of everything. He is Aksharam. The whole chapter emphasizes and it brings that concept more into light. We have been talking about that right from the beginning. That Krishna, who is the author of Bhagavad Gita, is telling the entire truth, and he says Mayarpita, Madbhavam, everything. That refers to not this personal Krishna who is there in front of Arjuna, but it refers to the consciousness, that Parabrahman who has been the creator of everything under this universe. So he's explaining the nature of that Parabrahma. What is it compared to what we are seeing around? What is the core, or what is the absolute truth from which everything has originated? And he emphasizes that, and how to attain that. All those things we have discussed in the previous shlokas, Akshara Brahma Yoga. Today he's again continuing with that, and then there are some more interesting things that come into picture, because so far he has said attaining that should be the goal of human being. Every human being who is born on this earth must aim to reach that Parabrahma, because that is an abode of permanent bliss, and you must make an attempt to reach there. And how to reach that, he has told uh, in several shlokas also. And mostly, I mean, he has been repeatedly telling that you should be very, very consistent in your efforts. You should be very, very consistent in your effort, and that makes it easy for you. That is the one, that is the not only easy, that is the way to reach me. That is para me means, as I said, it's not the Krishna who has come in the form of with Sudarshan Chakra or whatever to help Arjuna. Rather, it is Parabrahma represented as Krishna. So to reach that state from where there is no rebirth, because every birth is going to be cause of misery, a cause of some discontentment, cause of number of or innumerable desires, which again lead to some more births, only to add on to your karma. So it goes in a never ending way. Therefore, the best is quickly get out of this by various yogas. So he says, Ananya Chetaha Satatam Yo Mam Smarati Nityashaha Yasto Tasyaham Sulabhaha Partha Nitya Yuktasya Yoginaha. Nitya Yuktasya means he who is engaged in yoga consistently, daily, always, regularly. So that will relieve him of Punarjanma, which Janma means Dukkhalaya, which is Ashashvata. That is what he has mentioned. And we discussed at length about what it means actually. And then he says, the last one which we discussed was 17th shloka, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Viduhu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Te Ho Ratra Vido Janaha. They who know day and night, the true measure of day and night, know the day of Brahma. That means Jnanis, the people who are knowledgeable, know that there is a big difference between human years and the years of Brahma. What is one day of Brahma is not one day of human, not earth year. Earth year, uh, 1,000 yuga cycles. Each cycle has got 4 yugas. So thousands of such cycles equals to one day of Brahma, and similar duration is one night of Brahma. So those who know the true measure of day and night, they know the days of Brahma also, and they know that it ends in 1,000 yugas. He has told actually it is yuga cycle. So we had stopped there. And then now he says, how is the manifestation? We have discussed in Bhagavad Puran also, and previous sessions also, it has come about the creation. So again, now he, with reference to Akshara Brahma, he is speaking now. Avyaktat vyaktaya sarvaha प्रभवन्त्यः रागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते tatraivavyaktasamjnake. So he says that now we have talked about Brahma's day and Brahma's night. So Brahma's day, avyaktat vyaktavyaha, when the Brahma's day starts, at the dawn, all manifestations appear. It is not actually the, once the creation has happened, after that it is manifestation and unmanifestation. We'll see what it is. Avyaktat vyaktavyaha, from the unmanifested which was hidden, so Brahma brings out or he manifests that. Sarvaha prabhavanti aharagame. Prabhavanti means they, at the approach of the day, all the manifestations proceed from the unmanifested state. And as the night approaches of Brahma, all these merge into that alone, which is called the unmanifested. We are still not at Parabrahma. We are at Brahma's day. If you remember, we will discuss now. We will repeat that Brahma is created by Vishnu, Mahavishnu, who assumes, who is in the form of Yoga Nidra, and from his um, abdomen, from his umbilicus comes lotus, they say, and stem of the lotus, and on that lotus appears Brahma. And Brahma has been initiated to create the entire world. Create means, yeah, initially it is creation, then it is manifestation, because after that creation it goes back, again it comes out. I hope I'm clear. Initially there is a creation. Creation means he creates some beings like Kumaras, Rishis, Prajapatis. This comes in Purana. And then he manus, and then he asks them to procreate. The first, as per our system of this philosophy, is Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa. They are like Adam and Eve. From there starts procreation, then they get married, and then they have so many children, and thus the entire creation comes into existence. Then after that, what happens is they're all manifested. Then after one day of Brahma, that is 1,000 yuga cycles, they just go back in whatever state they are. Whatever state means all those gunas, karmas, everything. They go back in a different form. They go back in a different form, not in this body. They go actually as a subtle form, that is Sukshma Sharira. So not only they, everything in this universe, that is Ratragame Praliyante, that is called Pralaya. It goes back into the Brahma's consciousness. Um, Everything, the sun, the moon, the stars, everything, galaxies, the solar systems, everything, living and non-living, everything goes back and it becomes standstill throughout the night of Brahma. Throughout the night means throughout so much of duration. After that, again it starts in exactly the same manner. That means it repeats. But what happens now is that it manifests. That means whatever is unmanifested is like a seed. It has a potential to manifest, but it has gone back in a very subtle form, which has all the potential. Just like a seed has everything to grow into a huge tree, or the embryo, the after the union of the sperm and the ovum, we get that zygote, isn't it? So that has everything to manifest into a human being. Likewise, this the, what I should say, whatever goes back, they exist in the form of subtle elements, which again get manifested, which again come back and start growing. As how does it grow? We have discussed that it comes out as ahankara. Ahankara manifests as three gunas. These are all subtle concepts, and we have to imagine them because they are not seen. They are there, and they are logically, they can be explained also. So, ahankara is that awareness, tattva. From there, we get these gunas. From gunas, we have pancha mahabhutas. Then we have pancha tanmatra, sense organs, organs of senses, physical manifestation, matter, and then mind, body, mind, buddhi, manasu, buddhi, ahankara in the body. All these things start differentiation. They start from subtle, they become very gross. Okay, and in that gross also, this mind and intellect and all that, they are very subtle forms. So there is a combination of different varieties in this universe. That's how it comes. And then again they die, they take birth, they die, then everything goes back once again. At the end of 1,000 yugas, it goes back into Brahma. uh, in the it retains all its characteristics. It goes back to come back again and manifest further. It manifests, supposing I have achieved something, I have developed so much of my spiritual acumen, I will carry that, go back, maybe again I'll come back in the next cycle. Whether I will take rebirth in the same Brahma's day or I don't have any rebirth, I have no answer for this so far. We'll have to get back. But if I, at the end of those 1,000 yugas, if in some way my Sukshma Sharira here, there, this entity which traveled, it was there, it goes back and it continues its journey on the next day. Night it sleeps. That night or that day is of 1,000 yuga cycles, which amounts to so many years, crores of human years. So this is the description. But in these two shlokas, what he's saying is, there is manifestation, there is unmanifestation, manifestation, unmanifestation. So this keeps on happening again and again, and this unmanifestation is called as a pralaya. Pralaya does not necessarily has to be like a flood, or we had so many movies, I think, which was that 2012, everything is going to be destroyed and all that, all kinds of imaginations. But when it's going to happen, we don't know. But we have been told that we are in the 51st year of Brahma. So maybe another 50 years, we don't know how we are going to see each other in the remaining part of this kalpa. But this is how it's going to happen. And then after that, then it's going to go back. Even the astrophysicists have predicted, it seems, it's so many, 10 to 11,000 millions years of time. The sun exploded, the Big Bang theory. It has come back. And then they have also predicted that after few 5 to 6,000 million years, then all these planets and everything is going to be swallowed. I mean, it's going to go back. Sun is going to pull them back to some force. And then the world, the universe is going to become still. That is what even the modern science, it seems, they have told, the astrophysicists. So avyakta is undifferentiated. Here we are referring to this one. Please keep that in mind. Avyakta is the unmanifested, hidden portion of whatever was manifested. That's all. It is also Prakriti only. We are at that stage now because we are going beyond that in next shlokas. So at this stage, it is a nature, it's a evolution, and it has gone back into the seed of evolution. That is the avyakta sthiti. So there is avyakta of the nature into which the whole universe is resolved at the time of dissolution. That is the meaning. Next he says, Bhutagrama sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratyagame vashah partha prabhavati aharagame. So he says, the very same multitude of beings, multitude, innumerable beings that existed on the previous day merge in spite of themselves at the onset of night and come out again and again with the onset of the day. We go back, we come again, we go back, come again, we go back, come again. And in this process, he says, avashaha. He has used ratyagame vashaha. The same bhutagramaha sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate. Bhutva bhutva praliyate means they come out and they go back, come out and go back. It happens repeatedly, repeatedly, repeatedly. How long? Till 100 years of Brahma. Then Mahapralaya happens, then we all go, including Brahma, into Vishnu, it seems. That is another state. So we were created, Brahma himself was created, then everything started. We go back to Brahma, come back, go back, come back after 100 years. Along with him, we go back to that Vishnu abode, and then everything becomes still to again start the entire creation. So when we go back with Brahma, no, we go with everything else. And so many Brahmas, if you remember, I explained in the last session, there are multiple universes, multiple creations, multiple Brahmas by the same Parabrahma. So everything goes back along with so many Brahmas, so many creations, so many things. That is the final one. But at this stage, as long as Brahma is creating, dissolving, bhutva bhutva praliyate, and here, very important word he has used, the entire world, Bhutagramaha means entire world of cosmic entities and beings. Cosmos means what? Everything. The Deva Devatas, everything, all of us. So but the duration of the celestial beings is different. They live for a longer time than us. Brahma is the longest in this succession. So, Ratyagame avashaha means we have no control. This is very helplessly. Avashaha means this nature is performing as a program in a very programmed way, and nobody has a control. Even Brahma, after creation, he cannot stop, he cannot extend the day, the duration, everything. Once the creation starts, the time we have described, kala applies to this creation. Vyakta avyakta, no, this is a very important concept. We are all bound by the time, and we are all helpless. We are all bound by this time. At this time, the entire thing has to go back, and we are helpless. He says that helplessly means people or beings come into the world helplessly. You can imagine, just like you pour in a tank of fish, you get so many fishes and just pour them, and then they swim and all that. And then once their lifespan is over, we clear them, get another set of fishes into that fish pond. Something like that. We are all brought, and after we keep coming, going, take birth, rebirth, everything, whatever state we are, in the end, again we have to go back and to come back again. Only to come back again the next day of Brahma. So helplessly people are, they have no freedom over there. So here, Swamiji has described very nicely that we have some freedom. We say degrees of freedom, no, in biostatistics. So something like that. So we have some amount of freedom, but beyond that, we have no control. That is a limitation we have to think. Once we start understanding about Krishna's creation, Brahma's creation, we understand that we have been given some liberty to think. The liberty given, the freedom given, the free will that is given is only for evolution and for knowledge, to understand the whole purpose. Otherwise, why is Krishna a foolish person to keep bringing out people, taking them back, bringing out? Is he going to be, is it just it is his sport, but it is with a purpose, and it has come with a proper uh, design and development. He has done proper design and development. So he brings all of them. He gives some degrees of freedom where we can use our free will to evolve ourselves, to grow, to understand. All that is to understand all this and to get liberated. Our whole thing is, it's a big jungle of things. Big jungle, don't you think so? Thousands of yugas, he is telling, thousands, innumerable beings have come already. We are interacting with so many living and non-living. Our interaction is with living and non-living, and our mind and body is influenced by so many external forces as well as internal forces. This is a big struggle, and you imagine this struggle is happening with us who are, as I said, just a speck in this entire world of creation, entire world of multiple universes, multiple galaxies, multiple solar systems, multiple planets. Where are we? In this big earth, in this big country. If you see, we are just a speck, but he's giving us so much of instructions in a very subtle way and sitting within us, being the pure consciousness in all living beings. There he creates this entire huge infinite world, and here he comes within us, uh, as a, light, as a light which shines on all these manifestations. It is shining. I'm speaking because he's shining, he's manifesting. You are listening because he's shining, he's manifesting. It's his reflection alone which is making us speak or listen. It's his reflection alone which makes us see, which makes us experience everything. Without that, this whole Prakriti is just, as I told you, it's an inert thing. So look at that creation. This is what is the description of eternal Aksharam, Brahma, who is Aksharam means no Kshara. It's not going to get reduced in its, quantity, and eternal it is. It's not going to get diminished, imperishable. It doesn't get diminished. He's always there. He's shining in everything. So that is the consciousness I was referring to. Helplessly we come. Uh, he has given some freedom, but we don't have control on everything. If you observe carefully, what happens is when we are struggling with something, some activity, we reach our maximum potential. And then what else can I do? Have you experienced that? What else can I do? You are rather forced to look up or here and there. Something else is working. There is something beyond my control. So that is the limit of that freedom. That is the limit of that freedom. Until then, we have freedom. He has given. Use your brain, use your body, use your this one. You use everything to achieve something or to fulfill some, to overcome some challenge or to solve a problem. But somewhere we get stuck. And where we get stuck is entirely individualistic. I hope you are with me. Every individual has, even if he tries his maximum, he tries, he goes up to, then he says, no, something else is there. I give up. Exactly like how Draupadi gives up until she was, struggling with her when she was being stripped there, Vastraharan. So, like that, we all go through that. And so that helplessness is there at one. And then, of course, going back, coming again, this is never in our hands. And in fact, we didn't even know that until we opened Bhagavad Gita and started reading and listening. We didn't even know that what was our journey ahead. So, this is the biggest manifestation, and therefore is called Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So, this is how Vyakta, Avyakta happens, and people keep coming, people keep going, and we are all in slumber during Brahma's night, and then we all come again and we pick up from where we left. Actually, we come back, but the growth, evolution, it continues. It's not that we are in third standard, we go back, come back to third standard. No, third standard, if we have completed, we'll go back, come back, give exams, go to fourth, again go back, maybe fifth standard. So like that, the evolution continues. Every person's evolution continues. But otherwise, the non-living things and all, there is no further evolution for them. It is just like that. It continues. Then he says, Paratasmatu bhava vaha anya avyakta avyaktat sanatanaha यः स सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति परतस्मात्तु भाव अन्यः अव्यक्तः अव्यक्तात् सनातनः यः सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति. Now he comes to something. Now we all said manifested, unmanifested, manifested, unmanifested. Now he says, but beyond this avyakta or unmanifested, which went into the, I said, in the form of a seed, avyaktaha, seed has got everything, but it is not manifested into a tree. So we were all like that. But beyond this, there is another avyakta, another unmanifested. There is beyond this another unmanifested. That is the eternal existence. Paraha tasmattu bhava anyaha. Something which transcends this avyakta, transcends this unmanifested, hidden, is some one more thing. That is paraha. Anyaha avyaktaha avyaktat sanatanaha, which was sanatana, which was eternal. Before this, unmanifested also was there. What is the meaning? We have understood the creation, no? So the creation started with Brahma, and now in Brahma, everything is going as unmanifested. How did Brahma come? There was one more which was eternal. That is a pure, you can call him Vishnu, or just call that as pure consciousness. You need not even call it as with any form of God. Krishna is telling it is just that tat. So that is the avyaktaha, which transcends this avyakta. There is unmanifested, which is temporary, because tomorrow of Brahma is going to be manifested. But beyond that, there is another avyakta, another unmanifested. He uses that word, which is sanatana, eternal. That is Parabrahma. Yaha sarveshu bhuteshu. That which is not means unmanifested, but beyond this avyakta, there is that other avyakta, unmanifested, eternal existence, and it is there in all the sarveshu bhuteshu. It is there in all living beings, and nashatsu na vinashyanti, which is not destroyed at the destruction of all beings. Sorry. Yaha sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu, when all the living beings are just destroyed, means they go back, destroyed only. Pralaya means they get destroyed and go back in the subtle form. This one is not going to be destroyed at all. I hope all of you are with me. There is one more uh, avyakta, unmanifested. It is unmanifested because it remains as it is. It remains as it is, which will not get destroyed at any point of time. Whereas this unmanifested gets manifested, destroyed, goes back, destroyed in a gross form, and then goes back, again comes back, again gets destroyed. Here, this avyakta is not going to be destroyed at any point of time. So that he is referring to Brahman. That is eternal. Is all it is always it. You can call it as it. You need not call it as God also, because now every science, all the science is going towards that, and even in NIMHANS there is a Center for Study of Consciousness. Center for Study of Consciousness, because uh, what they have found is when it has got a great bearing on the psychology. If you they are seeing, when they study the psychology, and psychiatrists, when they start studying the working of this brain and the mind, they have come to a conclusion that mind is cannot be scientifically very well defined. Actually, we have different areas of brain, such as hippocampus, amygdala, and all those, part of hypothalamus, if you remember. They are all concerned with emotions. But where is the source for, getting better, or which goes beyond the treatment by medications? There is something, some source. Mind, when it comes in contact with such a source through various mechanisms, it is found to show significant improvement. For example, through meditation. Now they have proved in Harvard also. If they do meditation, it's going to rewire the brain. So, to what entity is this mind getting connected so that it gets rewired? So, that has stimulated the scientists to go beyond the thoughts, or the, or neurology, or psychology, or pathophysiology of various mental disorders. So then they have started thinking there is some other force, there is some other existence which needs to be studied, particularly in human, in relation to human. Actually, if you go beyond that, I think even physical matter also, matter, people, physicists also may be studying that there is some consciousness which is playing a role in the properties of this physical matter, which is being manifested. So we can read more about that. So from there comes the theory of quantum physics also. Theory of quantum physics says every particle in this universe, including the humans, have different expressions or different frequency or different vibrations of energy. Why that? If you link with what Krishna says, every what I should say, manifestation of consciousness, this consciousness reflection, it varies from person to person. If you remember, we have discussed that in Jnana Vijnana Yoga. More you bring out that divinity or that consciousness from you, more it gets manifested. That is why he says in all the sources, Vibhuti Yoga, he says all the sources of light, I am the sun. In all the rishis, I am the Kapila. So in some Kapila or Kashyapa, he has given that. So wherever among all bhaktas, I am Prahalada. So wherever there is maximum expression of that higher state, it is more expression of that reflection, you can say, of that consciousness. So therefore, this consciousness principle, it is extremely important for us to understand, and it is a pure science. And more it is shown or expressed, the energy changes, energy varies, the frequency varies. So that is the basis of our quantum physics. So this is what is actually, it's coming from these shlokas only. So that is paratattva. We talked about para prakriti, param, paramam, beyond, which transcends. That is the avyakta parabrahman. So that is this, which is not going to be destroyed. It was, it is, it will be for, I cannot say time only. There is no time. We cannot say millions of years. The minute you say it is millions of years, that means it is bound by time. Bound by time means vinashyati. It dissolves. So we don't say it was all, it is always there. The time does not. The minute you go beyond this prakriti, time stops. Timelessness. There is no space. They say space, time, causation. Nothing exists in that sphere, in that space. It was always there, but from there everything has come, everything goes. The minute it goes into that, then there is no time, absolutely no time. So we cannot say it lives for millions of years, it has been there for millions of years. No, there is no numerical value for its existence. It was there, it will be there, it is permanently, it will be there, and that is Parabrahman. And that is where we are aiming to go. Imagine, and that state is said to be a most happiest state, blissful state, which cannot be, imagined. Infinite times of happiness which a person gets. It's described in Vedas. My Guruji used to tell, if a person owns this entire universe, it is several times that. Supposing you are an ordinary person and you want to be powerful, you want to be the king, you should be the ruler of the entire universe, adhipatya, if you get, no, and what happiness you will get, an ordinary person. So it is billion, infinite times of that happiness is that state of bliss, because nothing exists there. You cease to exist in this form. So that is the entire description of this one. Now he says, Avyaktaha akshara ityuktaha tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. So avyaktaha akshara ityuktaha tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. What has been called unmanifested, avyaktaha, and imperishable has been described as the goal supreme, paramam gatim. That is the goal. That is the ultimate goal of every human being, which he has designed. So the whole process of everything, our restlessness, always we are restless because this mind and this body and our buddhi, everything, prakriti, wants to reach him. That's why we are restless. That's why we are trying to find here and there source of happiness. And then we realize this is not giving us happiness. Something else may be there. We go after that. So always we are restless. How hard we feel. Only when we go within and when we try to connect with him, then some ray of hope, some oasis starts. So he says, what has been called unmanifested, imperishable, has been described as the goal supreme. We are all on the path to reach that goal. That is my highest state, having attained which there is no return. That is my highest state. Once you reach there, there is no return. My highest state means he has other states also, isn't it? He has come as Avatara Purusha. He manifests as this, that, I am this, I am that, in that. He keeps giving. Wherever there is more merit, he says, I am manifesting there more. Wherever there is no merit, there is more merit, no? He says, that is my manifestation. Believe me, if a person is performing extraordinarily well, that is a conscious manifested more in him. So, keep on manifesting until you reach that state. Which one? Imperishable and unmanifested. This is a different avyakta, para avyakta. Until then, it was apara avyakta, nature, temporary avyakta, temporary unmanifestation to come again. So his state is going beyond that. So there, once you go, yam prapya na nivartante, having attained which there is no return, just like we have described in the previous shlokas, that punarjanmam na nivart, no, what he says, like we use this word, if you get that, then there is no punarjanma, isn't it? We have described that dukkhalaya and all that. So he says attaining means माम उपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयम् अशाश्वतं न प्राप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः. They would have gone there. So again, he's in. So there is lot of repetition because it will only reinforce our knowledge. It should be reinforced. You should stick. It should stay there in our mind to repeatedly remind us what is our supreme goal and how to go there. Now he says. We spoke about yam prapya na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Next, very beautifully. So that is a state. Now again he says how to reach there, how to attain Krishna. That is my title of the last session. This is part 2. Purusha sapara partha bhaktya labhya tvananyaya yasyantasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. And that supreme Purusha, he brings that word again here, Purusha. That Parabrahma consciousness is called Purusha. That Purushaha sa Paraha Partha. Paraha means supreme. Paraha means beyond apara. Paraha is transcending. That is, supreme Purusha is attainable, O son of Partha. How? By Bhaktya labhyah tvananyaya. Bhaktya labhyah tu ananyaya. It is only through devotion. Only through devotion, whole soul. Bhaktya labhyah. You can get that through devotion to him alone, not with anything else. To ananyaya. Yasyantah sthani bhutani. In whom, so that Purusha is attainable through devotion to him alone, and in whom all beings dwell. Yasya antah sthani bhutani. All the living beings dwell in him, and by whom all this is pervaded. By whom all this is pervaded. Yes, it is pervaded because the consciousness pervades everything, and that is a truth. We have to see the truth in living and non-living beings. We have to see him, that Parabrahma. We should try to see Parabrahma and that unmanifested Aksharam, who is there in every human being. He is shining in all human beings. So, and all living beings, all Bhutani, all beings are in him only. Because from him came Brahma. From Brahma we all came. And he has pervaded everything because everything shines through him. If he's pervading everything, it is like a sea and we're all floating in that sea. Aren't we in that sea? We are in that sea. He's here, he's there, everywhere. That's how Bhakta Prahlada brings out, isn't it? So Purushaha sa Paraha Partha Bhaktya Labhyaha tu Ananyaya Yasyantah Sthani Bhutani Yena Sarvamidam Tatam. So by whom all this is pervaded. So to reach that state, we all must show single pointed devotion. Again, he is coming to that. Bhaktya means devotion, one pointed, steadfast devotion, full concentration. Nothing else matters. Only you matter. Only he matters. My goal I have reached. I have done lot of good work, everything. No, nothing satisfies me other than reaching that state. That is the ultimate. He says, if you keep growing like this, one day with extreme devotion, you will obtain me. Extreme devotion, you will obtain me. So, to reach that state, just so to reach that state, we must show extreme devotion. So we have already discussed about uh, what is that devotion, how it should be manifested. Again, there's an entire chapter on Bhakti Yoga. But just let us remind ourselves to before we reach that ultimate state, maybe it is possible at any point of time. Swami Sarvapriyananda had come to Indian Institute of Science recently, I think 2 3 years ago, 2 years back, I think. Padmini knows that. In that recorded, I saw that recorded lecture. It says it is not difficult at all if you mind. You may get that enlightenment before you leave this auditorium. He was saying that, so it's possible. But let us assume that we are all in the process. So, for in that process, how to attain this single steadfast devotion is, as I mentioned in our previous session also, continuous remembrance, daily meditation, doing good work. Today, I was just writing gratitude, surrender, trust. Trust is extremely important in devotion. Trusting God will come in the reverse way. Trusting God is what? When you ask Him, let us say bhakti is of different varieties. No, bhakti is for a beginner. Bhakti is when we want something, when we are so much in misery, something is bothering us. We go to Him. God, get me out of this. My mind is so disturbed. So fine. Once you pray that, we must trust Him. If you pray Him, we must trust Him. What is that trust? That trust is that now I have surrendered to you, and I have handed over my problem to you. Now I am going to trust you completely. I know that you will take care of me. I know that you will take care of me. And if our devotion is so strong, and if our trust is very strong, then we will relax. Actually, ideally, we should not keep worrying. If you have trusted Him and handed over Him your problems, soon after that, ideally, if we trust Him 100%, then we say, Krishna Arpana, I have given it to Him. Now I will not worry. I will do my regular activities, and you will not stop doing your activities. On the contrary, if we don't trust Him, then we go to the temple or our puja room or before this one, his idol, and then we pray, come back, and then we keep worrying again. What will happen tomorrow? What will happen today? What will happen tomorrow? Future? What's going? So that means our ego is still not completely. It has not yet surrendered to Him. Surrender and trust means you are not supposed to worry at all, because all your worries are there and He will take care. If we have this much of surrendering ability, if we develop rather, then He takes over completely. In fact, in one of the slokas, He says, whoever wants to pray whichever gods, let them work. But they should do it with full shraddha, full devotion. If they do that, then it will reach me and I will see that they develop more shraddha. So keep developing more trust, 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 and that builds up a momentum, because He gives His grace also. So we must try to build up more trust. And after we get out of the problem, then what? Then gratitude should come, no? How many times we remember, unless we make it a habit, that first thing I will do today, I'm happy. We think of only one day. Swamiji was telling me, my Guruji said, think of today only. Don't think of today, I think. Today, end of the day, God, today my day went actually, my daughter did that. I was so happy. She was telling her son when we were going to bed, when she was here, she said, what was the best thing that happened to you, Naman? So today I got a kitten, very happy. Okay, thank God. And say, God, thank you for this day. I got my kitten. So, like last time we said, enjoy whatever we have. So, there we express our gratitude. God, today has been a wonderful day. So, thank Him. When you are happy, thank Him. Because when we are unhappy, anyway, we are going to Him. That is a good thing. But when we are happy, we should be very grateful to Him. So, gratefulness, surrender, and trust. Surrender should come always, whether you are happy. When we are happy, be grateful. When we are unhappy, trust Him and surrender throughout. So, GST, our Indian tax system, GST we should have. That will build up a strong devotion and so much of connection with Him that with time, with every event, daily basis, when we make this contact with Him, definitely Antakale we will remember Him, number one. Not only that, uh, the devotion becomes stronger, and then we say, I don't want anything. Dukkha no bada, sukha no bada. If something is happening in my house, in my family, in my profession, let it happen. Who's bothered? I just want to be with you. We should reach that stage. That is what. Only then that will give you real happiness. And He starts showing actually. If you start building up that kind of devotion, then your immunity to disappointments, building up that resistance, that becomes our vaccination. Our devotion should become our vaccination. It should prevent us from getting disturbed, because karma will have its day. It will have its day. But if we develop immunity, you are exposed to COVID, but your vaccination is preventing it. So your bhakti will give you a strong, I should say kavacha, or it's like what is that called as? It's a coat, I should say. It's a very disappointments or disaster proof. We are wearing something which will not allow on our mind. It will not disturb us. So this devotion, to reach that devotion, bhaktya, paramam, he says, Abba, to reach that devotion where we don't aspire for anything else other than Him, to reach that stage, these are the small steps. When we are happy, we should be grateful. When we are unhappy, we go to Him, but surrender and trust Him. That trust is extremely important. Then now he says a different now how again he comes back and he brings us to how our sukshma sharira, or the soul, reaches the, how during liberation, with what is a path taken when we leave this body. Rather, when we leave this body, what happens? Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim chaiva yoginah prayata tam kalam vakshami bharatarshava. So now I shall tell you the different paths of passing away from this body. Different paths. When we leave this body, obviously our subtle body leaves, the gross body dies. It merges with the Pancha Mahabhutas, isn't it? The matter. Whole thing was a matter only. What was this flesh, this blood, this all these muscles or bones, everything is chemical only. And from Pancha Mahabhutas, there was air, there was space, there was fire, everything, all that. So it goes back. So, but what are the paths of passing away from this body? Where do we go? Subtle thing. And I will one which leads to return back to this earth, and another path from which you don't return. I shall tell you of these two paths, he says. Agni Jyoti Aha Shuklaha Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vido Janaha Dhumo Ratri Tatha Krishnaha Shanmasa Dakshinayana Tatra Chandramasam Jyotihi Yogi Prapya vartate. Shukla Krishne gati yete jagata shashvate mate ekayayatyana vrittim anyaya vartate punaha. So he says, three shlokas I have combined. Fire, flame, Agni Jyoti, Ahaha. Fire, flame, daytime. Then Shuklaha, bright fortnight. Bright fortnight means the first half of the lunar month, which goes towards the full moon day, towards that. So bright fortnight, then 6 months of northern passage of the sun, that comes roughly from Jan, Feb to June. Taking this path, the knowers of Brahman go to Brahman. Actually, this is little bit debatable shlokas as per Swami Vivekananda also, and interpretation has different. I mean, people have interpreted. Commentaries are different. We'll see how it is. But if you go as it is by the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if a person leaves, dies, if the soul leaves, the body during when there is fire, when there is light. Fire means something bright, and daytime, and in the first 15 days of 15 days of a month, that means Shukla Paksha. Brighter, first 15 days is called Shukla Paksha. Second 15 days is called Krishna Paksha. Because these 15 days, you see the moon becomes brighter, brighter until he reaches a full moon day, Purnima, Unnime. And then it becomes smaller, smaller, it becomes Amavasya in our system, lunar system. That is called Krishna Paksha, that is darker part of the month, night, darker part of the month, second half of the year. These are different. So if you leave a person who knows Brahman, and if he leaves, they say if he leaves this, then he gets mukti, he goes to Brahman. Knowers of Brahman go to Brahman. The knowers of Brahman means who are jnanis, who have already done. Yogi, he is a yogi. Such a person, when he leaves the body in this part of the, during the day, during the first half, it should be daytime, it should be first half of the month, and it should be in the first, Uttarayana, when the sun is going towards the North Pole, Uttarayana, sun's journey. That means that part, sun doesn't go, earth is moving. It is those seasons which are in the first half of the year. So if a person takes this, he leaves the body, then he goes to Brahman and he doesn't return. Second one is Dhumo. Instead of fire, he says Dhuma. Dhumo Ratrihi Tatha Krishna Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandramasam Jyotihi Yogi Prapya Nivartate. If a person leaves the body when there is smoke means haziness, no light, no fire. Fire specifies auspiciousness. Dhuma does not. So Dhuma or night time, dark fortnight, and 6 months of the southern passage of the sun. If you take this path, then the yogi attains the lunar light and returns. He goes there. Lunar light means he leaves this sphere. He goes up. He lives in some Pitru loka for some time, and then he comes back. So according to these shlokas, the time of departure of this soul from this body decides the future of this person. Future. That means the Sukshma Sharira, whether he's going to attain moksha or not. But so, and then I'll complete the next shloka, then we'll come back. Shukla Krishne Gatihi Ete Jagataha Shashvate Mate Ekaya Yat Anavrittim Anya Ayavartate Punaha. So truly are these bright and dark path. Bright path is for mukti, considered eternal. One leads to non-return, other one leads to return. So does Swami Vivekananda has questioned that, his opinion. He says, does that decide the mukti? What decides the mukti? Here we are assuming that a person who leaves that during that part of the day or that part of the month or that part of the year, he attains mukti. Does that mean whether he's yogi or not, he attains mukti? No. He should be a yogi and he should leave. That is what Bhagavad Gita says. One who knows Brahman, and if he leaves that path, then he attains. So there's little bit of confusion here. And the second shloka says, if he leaves this body in this part of the, year, second half of this one, then he comes back. So my thoughts are, it may be. I should just check with, and if you know something, and my so far search has shown that this is what it is. He leaves, but I feel that a person who knows Brahman, he tends to leave his body, just like that explanation is given. Bhishma waits for Uttarayana. One, he waits for Uttarayana to get liberation. So he should have already become a yogi, already he should have been a jnani, and then when he leaves the body in this time, then there is point of no return. He should not leave. That means he would have had so much control on what is called Ichha Marana. He can die whenever he wants to. He can leave this body whenever he wants to. So, but the people who have not been yogis, who have not been, many people die in that part, first half. That doesn't mean all of them who die in the first year, Uttarayana, who die in the daytime, who die all that, all they will not they will not become the liberated souls. No, it's not like that. But those who are jnanis, if they leave, those they try to leave their bodies so that they don't have a path of return. The remaining, they usually, the death may happen during that time, or they may not be able to leave the body during that time. Automatically they'll have to go and they'll have to come back. So these two shlokas are subject to some kind of, contradictions. I don't call them as true contradictions, but ultimately one thing he says, that um, you must be yogi. Whatever it is, whether you live in first half, second half, daytime, night time, doesn't matter. But Nitya Yogi is what required. So now next shloka it comes there. Naite Sruti Partha Janan Yogi Muhyati Kanchana Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna. So, no yogi, O son of Partha, is deluded. Naete Sruti Partha. After knowing these paths, no yogi is deluded. That means he is not ignorant after knowing these paths. Therefore, Arjuna, be steadfast in yoga at all times. So, this shloka is important, that if you are steadfast all through, then you need not wait for the death to decide where you are going. You will get liberation right now, even when you are living. Even when you are living, you may get Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna. So you know that you now a jnani knows this path. Even if I become a jnani, if I go leave my body in this time, I will become liberated. At this time, I will have to come back again. So this is what people know, says Krishna. So always Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna. But actually speaking, we can take the second sentence and say there is no need for somebody to leave this body to attain mukti, isn't it? So, in this body itself, just like Gautam Buddha, just like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, just like Shankaracharya, they all attained moksha living in this body, here itself, here itself. So these are known people. There are so many liberated people, liberated souls who attain enlightenment in this life itself. So always yoga yukto, be in a state of yoga. Then he says, last shloka, Vedeshu yat Vedeshu yatneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadhyam. Whatever meritorious effect is declared in the scriptures. Okay, Vedeshu, Yajneshu, Tapahasu, Chaiva, Daneshu, Yat Punya Phalam Pradishtam, Atiyeti Tat Sarvamidam Viditva Yogi Parastha. So it says, whatever meritorious effects is described from study of Vedas, performance of yajnas, or austerities. Above all these rises the yogi, having known this and attains the supreme abode. And Swami Ranganathananji puts in the bracket here and now. Vivekananda and Swami Ranganathananji actually insist that let's not go by these. In fact, Swami Vivekananda's statement I will tell you. He says, I don't know what all these mean. I can't make head or tail of this for these slokas, which says Uttarayana, Dakshinayana. So they say, practice yoga. Let's not think about it. That doesn't mean they contradict Bhagavad Gita, but then they say that as per Krishna, let us do it right now. So this last shloka says, to reach that stage, no, you have to practice austerities, tapas. You have to do dana, yajna, dana, tapas. These are described already. Yajna, dana, tapas. Yajna is practicing these austerities. Dana is charity. Tapas, sorry, yajna is performing those sacrifices and all that. Dana is charity and tapas is austerities. And also jnana, learning the scriptures. So all these should be performed, say the Vedas. A yogi does all this and then he transits all this. When he becomes really yogi, none of these matter to him. He has transcended that. He has crossed all that. These don't apply to him. That's what it says. Atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. Attains the supreme abode. He attains the supreme abode by transcending all this, because he would have crossed all this, because he knows that. I mean, anytime he can do that. Anytime he can do tapas. He has done so much of tapas. He has done so much. He has crossed all that. And then he says, and right now, we should do it right now. Sri Ramakrishna says, here, everything is here. Liberation is here. Right now. You need not wait. I will leave this body and attain. Don't do that. So you have to attain everything here. So that completes Iti Akshara Brahma Yogo Nama Ashtamodhyaya. We have completed chapter 8. So in this chapter, to summarize, Krishna has spoken about his true nature is Akshara. Akshara, Param. And to attain him is a supreme goal. And he is totally unperturbed and he is imperishable, eternal. It does not get reduced. There is no definition of his quantum. It exists, it existed. There is no description of the time also. Always it has existed. And to reach that stage, again, practice yoga, all these yogic practices, and consistently again, and with this knowledge that he is the one, Aksharam. And it is not this Krishna who has come for Bhagavad Gita Kurukshetra. He is only a representation, personal form. It is him, and he manifests through all the beings. All the beings are into him. And to experience that, like how we have told with Jnana Yoga, in starting he says, Arjuna has asked those questions, no, what is karma, what is Brahma, all that. So to reach that stage, we must have a lot of devotion, steadfast, consistent devotion, steadfast, consistent, one-pointed devotion. Nothing else should matter. If you reach that stage that nothing else will matter to me, then you will attain that blissful state. So that can be done here itself, in this body itself. Body will be there, but my mind has already attained that oneness. So that is a whole summary of Akshara Brahma Yoga. I hope I have done justice. Maybe we will, as we run through other chapters, this is a very beautiful chapter actually. Purusha, consciousness, how he reflects in all the beings. So what we are seeing now is his reflection. If this bottle is there, it has got a shape. This is a reflection. We have to reach the source. As we said, we keep pots with water and we are seeing the reflection. We are happy with that. Just like the fish, the fish is happy with the moon's reflection and it enjoys in that. That's what we are all doing. But we should see the original moon, the source. That is when we reach the Parabrahma. So that completes this chapter. Anything you want to add or... It's a little